Hello everybody, I am so sorry. I'm feeling so crappy that I actually, when I made this, schedule this live, I didn't realize that it was scheduled on private. Not even members, it was scheduled on private. And I had started it and then I realized that I didn't have anybody on. And then I was like, what is going on? And then I noticed that it was private. So, anyway, I am going to make a pumpkin brooch, show you how to make a pumpkin brooch. What you need to keep in mind is that I'm going to resin it just to show you how the effect looks like. But what I suggest is that you use either one of those oval things that you use to to make your fingers not smell after you chop onions, or the back of a spoon in order to make the brooch. And do not resin it, just buff it. But I am going to resin it. On the other hand, one thing that I do recommend is that you check, because there will be, I won't hold you on so you can see how it looks after it is baked. But to see how to finish it, you simply go to my channel and then you search for brooch, and then there are quite a bit of brooches, but why you want to see that is because, let's look at this one, because it shows you how to do the back of the brooch, how to exactly place the backing and the pin and all that. And as I said, there are several that have that. Anyway, so what I have here, I have gold, primo primo metallic. I have ancient gold, antique gold, sorry, also primo metallic. This is a mix of half and half regular gold and cadmium red, and then a little bit of translucent. And I'll have to tell you, this is not going to, thank you, Lydia. This is not going to be very long. I am in a full-blown fibro flare. I had a narcolepsy thing yesterday. I didn't realize what it was from. It was because of the fibro flare. So I'll try and finish this as fast as possible. And I won't keep you long, but this is a very nice combination that I thought might make you want to make a brooch like this. Of course, you can make it as a pendant, and then you actually can resin it. You don't have to use the round thing or sand and buff. But anyway, so you get about equal amounts of the gold and red mix and the translucent, and a little bit less of the antique gold. And the translucent has to be chopped much finer than the other one. So what you need to do, I'm making a little bit more because I actually want to make some brooches for some of my friends. So we will make it look like a pumpkin, but one of those vintage kind of looking things. And you want to toss really well. It doesn't hurt if you kind of get it together and then do a few more cuts. But you want those colors to be very well mixed. Why I'm putting the resin is because, of course, once you put the resin on, it looks almost like if you had baked and sanded and buffed. Of course, the translucent will become more translucent once it's baked. So you do your whole thing here. And then you start consolidating it. Nice and easy. And you want it well consolidated so that you will not have any kind of air pockets, because you have all these little pieces that if you don't push them into each other well enough, you will have cracks and air and all kinds of nasty stuff. So you want to be very, very well consolidating this. Of course, as usual, and you've seen, I have several videos with various chopping chunky mixes like this. And you can you know that if you watched any of the other ones, you know that the inside is actually the actual what's going to be the front, because I'm not using the outside of this rectangle because hi Mona, because it will be less. You can see there are still some cracks, and I don't want to smoosh it too much because I don't want them to start mixing with each other. So there we go. And you can use just a regular oval. And this is our result. Actually, I got the biggest one. I don't need the biggest one. I need one a tad smaller. So you can extend it a little bit. Try to work more on the back than on the front. And you can extend it to the point that it will fit your cutter. And then you place it on whatever you want to, or before you place it on the round baking blank. And of course, what you want to do first is to do a little bit of burnishing. And as you can see, it's fairly thick, and you'll see in a minute why. Thank you so much. Alrighty, so my next thing will be to grab a little bit of cling wrap. And first and foremost, I'm going to give it the first cut. And of course, all these edges you can reuse for a new piece. Now be very careful, because what we need to do is we are going to make one, but not cut. We are going to use the back of the cutter. And first do an indentation, because we only do indentations, we don't do cuts. Okay, and again, remember that this will be all nice and shiny. Make sure you don't have any kind of wrinkles on your cling wrap. And use the back, not the front. Okay, so just want to make this indentation and another one here, and then one right in the middle. Actually, I might want to do this middle one just a bit more. So we will have something like this. It will give the illusion of it being made out of some type of stone, right? So the next thing you want to do, and again, it is a matter of how it's going to look after it is. I'm going to place the final touches after I put the resin in, because I just want to show you how it's going to look in the end. But before putting the resin in, I'm going to make a few little embellishments. Yes, please don't forget the thumbs up. If you cannot make strings very easily, you can always use your extruder if you have one. Okay, and then just place them on the indentations you made. And one more for the middle. Now, I've seen things like this made with real stone and with wire. And I've been asked why I don't show anything about wire wrapping polymer clay. Well, I don't show it because of two reasons. Number one, because of my hands issues, aka osteoarthritis of the hands. I have problems pinching and, doing all these. And that doesn't allow me to do wire wrapping. The second thing is that polymer clay is plastic. It's actually PVC with plasticizers. So if you want to do wire wrapping with polymer clay, you will have some problems, because the ends of those wires will scratch the polymer clay. Okay, you don't have to make it all perfectly perfect. You see how there's some areas right around the strings that are still white, that show that the paper is not completely flat on the clay. You don't want to make it too flat on the clay. Okay, so as I was saying, you'd have to, for each piece of wire, when you cut it, you'd have to file the end so that it wouldn't scratch your polymer clay. So some people can do it. I don't want to get something that I worked for hard and get it all scratched by wire if I try to wire wrap. So when I was doing wire wrapping, I was only using real stone, and even with real stone I would be very careful what kind of stone it had, so it wouldn't have a low Mohs so it would be a hard stone, not a soft stone, like for example howlite and turquoise can be a little bit too soft to wire wrap. And the only type of wire wrapping that works with very soft materials is the kind of wire wrapping that you do with very, very, very high gauge. That means very thin and soft wire, which can be done because there are some things that are almost like a lace that can be done in wire wrapping. Okay, now let's wait for that to get cured. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one more string. Okay, so bead first and then string. Always start from the middle and go towards the end, and if you want to thin it out, you start from the end and then move up the thinner you want to do it, and gently roll while moving your finger towards the end. And I'm going to do a leaf or two. So again, I'm going to get this in a cylinder. And then cut it. And you want again to use the very middle because that's going to make some mica shift effects. And then we need what the heck, my thing was here. I'm losing stuff. Okay, so we are going to just simply design a leaf. And what you want to do is make little and do another one. So easier for you to see how to do it. You do first the middle, and then this should be straight, kind of right towards the center, and then the next one would be down. And then you make one small indentation in the middle, and then two on each side. And let's get them off the table. And now you can see better. I will, as usual, I will refocus. But what you want to do is of course it's going to look way better once it's baked. And you can bake these, you will be able to remove them and just put a little bit, just a tiny bit of glue to glue them, and then you can use a nice screw to get it to attach a bail. So again, this you can use a simple. Now I didn't cut these very nicely. You can cut them much better. But as I said, I'm not in the best of shapes right now. So let me. What in the world? There we go. As I said, I'm feeling so bad that I can't even figure out what the heck I'm doing. No, let's get the focus closer. So there you go, this is how it's going to look. And now you see why I told you to not use a lot of translucent. Now this translucent, once it's baked, it's going to allow you to see what's underneath. So it's going to look even prettier than it does. But you see why I said that you need your translucent to be in smaller chunks, and I would actually put even less translucent here. But this is how it would look like, and it's a pretty pumpkin. Get back there. That you can try, and I am sure that you will like it. Okay, thank you so much, and I hope you'll try it because it's a very nice piece of jewelry for not just Halloween but for Thanksgiving as well. And I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope I'll see you next Sunday with no more health issues because I'm tired of them. Okay, thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. I love you all. Bye.